I am rarely, if ever, impressed by the number of books that someone reads in a year, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. Hi, I'm Charlie with law firm Alchemy, and while being a forever learner is absolutely a component to being a successful entrepreneur, a successful law firm owner, it isn't the key for growth. As a matter of fact, the forever learner concept can be a bit of a trap in my experience. I've seen tens or dozens of people who talk about how many books they read in a year, how many articles they consume, and yet there's very little actual change and action to show for it. And here's what I frequently encounter. The person who is so busy consuming ideas may be the exact same person who is always switching up the core of what they do. They're mistaking what I call the fuel for the engine. This is a critical concept with my private clients. We consistently talk about the idea of engine versus fuel, or at least the idea is introduced for them to hold on to as they absorb new ideas. Anytime that you read a book or listen to a podcast or encounter that next great article or video, I want you to start thinking about, is this idea engine or fuel? And here's what I mean. Building your engine is really important. You need to have a great engine to have a great business. But engines are not things that you are constantly tampering with. As a matter of fact, you want to build a really great engine and see how well it runs before you start making any massive upgrades to it and upsetting your ecosystem. A good example of an engine idea that I like to use is the Profit First financial system developed by Mike Michalowicz. Profit First is such a big and revolutionary idea that oftentimes when a law firm owner encounters it, it becomes part of their engine. It is a distinct way in which they operate. And then from there, some of the other financial information or numbers information that they absorb is the fuel for that engine. So rather than going and constantly tinkering with how they monitor their financial metrics, separate money, use their operating tax account, etc., they just use the additional ideas to reinforce what they are already doing. They're providing fuel to their engine. Let's think about marketing as well. Let's say you're using something like education-based direct response marketing. Well, there's a ton of different strategies, different ideas, different things that you can put on top of that, but we don't want to tamper with the engine too much. If you know that you have a system that is running really, really well, you don't want to make the mistake of going out, getting a bunch of ideas, and then replacing that system with those new ideas just because those ideas are more fun. Instead, those ideas become part of the fuel. The fuel can be used to explode what we have already done. I mean, that's what an engine does, right? It's quite frighteningly, unless you have an electric vehicle, of course, it is just a bunch of tiny explosions moving your vehicle down the road. Again, something we don't like to think about when we're actually driving, but that's what's happening. So that fuel, those little ideas can continue to provide extra little explosions of energy, get you more excited, maybe refining a headline there or encouraging you to do a video over here. That's great. We want a constant stream of fuel entering the engine you build. But don't mistake every bit of fuel that you find to be a core component of your engine. Your engine should stay much more consistent. Consistency really is key. If you are always replacing your engine, you're never really going to go anywhere because you're just obsessed with, is this going to be the perfect engine? A running engine is better one that is constantly in the shop. Ultimately, if you are constantly changing up your engine, you're just never going to leave the garage. And you may be wondering why your practice has stalled at its current level, why you've hit that plateau. And it might be because you become so obsessed with the engine. So let's create something consistent. Let's take core ideas, build your engine, and continue to tackle it. This can even include making sure that we've honed down your ideal client to make that part of your engine. Because quite frankly, your engine includes what you say no to just as much as it includes what you say yes to. It is your ultimate principles and strategies guidepost as opposed to the tactics of the fuel that comes in. So if you feel like you're getting stuck and you want to create focus and really create an engine that you can continue to fuel and create long-term sustainable high profit growth, that's what we should be talking about. This is where you need someone in your corner who is calling you out on the overexcitement about every single new idea. I know that doesn't sound like as much fun, but part of a coach's job is to hold you accountable to continuing to run your engine, to get the thing out of the shop and see how it actually performs before we start making any changes to it. If you're worried about being stuck in neutral, consider the difference between a fuel idea and an engine idea, and even write that down as you write down new ideas. Write down, is it fuel or is this engine? And really, you're probably gonna have a ratio of anywhere from 25 to 50 to 1. So a 25 to 1 or even a 50 to 1 ratio of fuel to the one engine idea. And that's a-okay, especially if you are a forever learner. This will actually amplify all the learning that you do and make your law firm run that much faster on the engine that you have constructed. Now, if you're interested in figuring out how we could work together to grow your firm exponentially as a wealth generation and lifestyle building business for you as a law firm owner, go ahead and take a look at the information below on how you can get started and what's available to you right now, whether it's one-on-one coaching or one of our courses that can help you quickly establish a new marketing, management, hiring, and other systems in your practice to help with your growth today. So that way you can have massive profit tomorrow.